Okay, it's good to be back after our summer break. I hope things went well for everybody. And we'll go right into it. Here are some questions. This year is in memory of Racheleh Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi, Lila Nishmata. I want to reward my 10-year-old daughter for helping me around the house watching her baby sister. Is it wrong if I take her to stores and buy her prizes? Am I raising her level of expectations and gashmius that way? If yes, then what's the alternative? How should I reward her on a regular basis besides giving her some spending money? It's marvelous to take her to the store and buy her something for doing something good. Much better than spending money and asking a counselor or a psychologist what to do with your child who's not helping you do good things. It's a marvelous idea. It's well spent money. The only thing I would say is that it's good for you not to be completely consistent. So she sees this as a prize and a reward, but not as payment. So that means sometimes you could say, do me a favor and then let the and be and do up the dishes or stay in the house with the baby for a couple of hours or whatever, and not give her anything. And then a couple of times later say, you didn't just help me today. It was then and in the end. Choose something nice. In other words, in this case, inconsistency has its own advantage. But certainly rewarding in and of itself is the only way to go. That's great. Surely you don't expect a 10-year-old to do things completely for altruistic reasons. Even we don't do things completely for altruistic reasons most of the time. The only other consideration I would say, she's already 10. So this is completely mat'im for 10. But as she moves towards 12, 13, try to reward her less frequently. Okay, and slowly move her towards kavod, to the point that she herself will feel that it's foolish or silly to expect things for doing what should be done in any case. But this is certainly on target for where she is now. Dear Rebbetzin Heller, I wonder if you could help me out. A neighbor of mine hits his wife. The family is first-generation immigrants from an Arabic country. The husband is a very nice person and a good father. I feel if he was an American, there's no way he'd be doing this. Are there any sources that directly speak about this subject that are, to quote in a shir, trying to make it sound halachic? Something along the lines of anyone who hits his wife goes straight to Gehenna would be ideal. I don't know if any such source exists. He has a lot of Yirat Shemayim, and the social worker I spoke to felt it might be a good shot if he heard the Torah perspective on this subject. The social worker knows the family, having worked with one child, but the parents are not in touch with her now. Thanks very much. Your question raises a number of questions to me before I even answer you. How do you know that this happens? Has the wife confided in you? Are you absolutely sure she hasn't exaggerated in order to gain your sympathy? Is it possible that no one told you, but you might have heard loud shouts or whatever, and you made your own assumptions based on their background? Is it possible that you heard that people from this background hit their wives and put two and two together and drew this conclusion? The reason I'm saying this is anything that you do about a problem that doesn't exist gives birth to a new problem. So be very, very sure that you know what you're talking about here. And again, be sure that the wife didn't say something to add a little color and drama to something, the way people can do at times. Be very sure that you're not fixing something that isn't broken. This is especially significant since there's some things in the letter itself that make me wonder. You said, I feel if he was an American, there's no way he'd be doing this. This suggests that you're coming at this with a good deal of assumption about what people do from different social backgrounds, which sometimes is true and sometimes is not. And you spoke about speaking to a social worker about this, and that the social worker, I mean, this is so out of line. The social worker I spoke to felt it may be a good shot if he heard the Torah perspective on the subject. what right did the social worker have to discuss this family with you? I've seldom heard anything less appropriate. The social worker surely would have her own means of doing this by speaking directly to the woman and or the husband. Why was she involving you? It sounds like schmoozing. It doesn't sound like social work. So there are some things about the style of the letter more than its content that awaken some questions in me. However, I'm going to push this all aside and assume as you described it with no exaggeration. So I would imagine you said that again I'm quoting you, that are there any sources directly that speak about this subject that our Rav would be able to quote in a shiur, trying to make it sound halachic? Is your Rav the same as his Rav?